You ready, Kitty? I said, are you ready? I said, are you ready? No, come back. Come on, be ready. Kitty! I offended her with my, are you ready? Which, to be fair, every time I'm at a show, or any kind of event, and the host comes out and is like, hey guys, how you doing? And then everyone's like, woo, and he's like, no. I said, how are you doing? And you're supposed to come back like twice as strong the next time, or else he's gonna do it again. And so you're really only responding out of fear, because this ass is gonna keep asking you, how you feeling tonight? No. I said, how you feeling tonight? And you're like, great, I'm so great, I'm having the time of my life. Don't ask a third time. That's all we're trying to do, is get him to not ask a third time, because hosts are awful. And also, I am one. Yo, what's up, guys? It's episode 80. That's a pretty big milestone. Holy crap, we only have 20 more episodes till 100. If my math is correct, which it often isn't. Today I was trying to figure out how many hours I slept, and I counted on my fingers to try to figure that out, and I had to restart twice because I kept losing track. Which is, you know what? I have other skills, and the math ship has just passed for me. It has sailed. The ship has sailed. It's gone. I missed the boat. It's fine. It's all good. So, announcement. I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm going to be gone for a very long time. And yes, you can be sad because you're going to miss me, but also I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to see a unicorn, because the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland for some reason. Has anyone told them? Should we tell them? Maybe not. Let's just let them live in their little fairy tale. Yeah, so I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks in July, and that means probably no podcast. I'm going to try to upload a lot of stuff on social media. I'm trying to post to my story a whole bunch on Instagram, but also I'm there to like really enjoy myself and not worry too much about posting and all that stuff. I'm just like taking a little break from all of it. But yeah, please follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to, I'll post some cool stories. I'm going to be seeing some cool stuff. We're going to try to go to Islay, which is one of the islands off of the west coast of Scotland, where they make all the very, very fiery, peaty Scotch. Because me and Sean are like big Scotch fans. Well, he was, and then I became one after suffering through the process of learning how to drink it. Like it's not a beverage that you just drink right away. You know what? We did an episode of my old YouTube show called What the Scotch. Did we do 2 episodes of that? Maybe just 1. I don't know. But it was Sean like introducing me to Scotch. And that was during the time period where I was trying to learn how to drink it, because it is absolutely an acquired taste. You don't just sit down and drink fire and be like, yeah, that's some really good fire. Unless you're Sean. Actually, I think that's exactly what happened with him. So last time we went to Scotland, I was pregnant. Yay! I love whiskey and I'm pregnant, and I went to Scotland where they make the most amazing whiskey in the world, and I can't drink it because I got a case of the babies. Very disappointing, but also, I had a blast. I had so much fun, but I can't wait to go back a second time and just distillery hop. Dude, I'm just going to go on like a distillery crawl. I'm going to be just like lightly buzzed for 3 weeks on fire, liquid fire. I cannot wait. Because the island, I'm sure you've watched Parks and Rec and you've seen Ron Swanson talk about Lagavulin. That's his big one, right? Yeah, Lagavulin. And he actually goes to the distillery, and we're also really big fans of Lagavulin. So I want to go to that building. I want to see the big letters on the side, and I want to smell the salty air and stomp on the peaty ground, and it's going to be so awesome. And expect a really long podcast episode after I get back, because I'm sure there will be all sorts of shenanigans. In fact, it's a remote island. Like there's like 2 ways to get there: a ferry, the boat kind, not the one with wings. There's a ferry or a plane, and the plane only takes off and lands like 90% of the time because of fog. Like there's like a decent chance like you're not going to get there because it's foggy, and they're like, we're just not going to do it today. Check back tomorrow. And you're like, I can't really do that. I'm on a schedule here. I gotta be on this distillery crawl like now. So look, we're traveling so much. This is just 3 weeks of planes, trains, and automobiles. So there's going to be planes that are delayed and luggage that goes missing and trains that we miss and buses that we fall off because we're drunk. There's just going to be so much that happens, and I cannot wait to come back and tell you all about it. That being said, if you are from Scotland, if you have been to Scotland and you know the lay of the land and you know cool places to go, please leave me a comment. I want my comment section filled with things to do in Scotland. We're going to Edinburgh, we're going to Glasgow, we're going to Islay and Oban. When we went last time, we only went to Glasgow, which so many people you meet and they're like, yeah, I've been to Scotland. I'm like, I've been to Scotland too. And they're like, where did you go? I'm like, I went to Glasgow. And they're like, oh, why? I'm so sorry. No, Glasgow's cool. But every single person I've ever met who has been to Scotland has told me that Edinburgh is the place to go. They're like, have you played Fable, the video game? It's Fable. There's cobblestone streets, there's castles, there's villagers who are just friendly, walking around. And I'm super excited to go there. Just looking at the pictures and Edinburgh Castle, it does look very fairy tale. And I'm incredibly stoked. Something fun we did on our last trip is we were walking along the street and we saw a poster for an off-Broadway performance of American Idiot, the Green Day one, the Green Day rock opera, where they took a very punk rock CD and turned it into a musical, which is the most opposite of a punk rock thing ever. Musicals are so not punk rock, but it's just very funny how they did it, and it won a lot of awards and it did really well. But it's funny that I got to see it in Scotland, where every actor so clearly was Scottish, trying to do an American accent and sing with an American accent in a show called American Idiot. And as an American watching this, it was just very funny because you can always tell, most of the time, you can always tell when somebody's trying to do an accent, they're not native from that place, especially if you are native from that place. So that was very fun. And it was a great performance. And that was just a spur of the moment thing when we did when we were there. So I'm sure there's gonna be lots of little things like that we do. And maybe when I get back, I'll be able to put together one of those comprehensive guides to traveling Scotland. And mine's gonna be 10 times better than all the ones on YouTube, because most of the ones on YouTube are boring. And I'm gonna make it funny. And then when you go, that will be your guide. Let me be your guide. Hold on, my water's over here and I need to get it.
Academy Award winner Timothy Hutton. Timothy Hutton. Timothy Hutton. You should go. Timothy Hutton.
Anyway, my friend got stung by a scorpion, and that's horrifying. And her name is Holly, and I posted about it in my stories if you saw that. So first of all, this worries me because I was told when I first moved here that I didn't have to worry about scorpions. By far, scariest animal. They're so scary. I would take a spider over a scorpion any day of the week. I don't even care how big. I would take a huntsman spider over a tiny scorpion any day of the week. Probably not true. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't think that I don't want that at all. Maybe I would definitely take a small scorpion versus a huntsman spider. But no, I'm terrified of scorpions. I think they're the one the one monster I'm actually really scared of because I think ever since I did the Claudia thing where I had tarantulas crawling on me, I'm not scared of tarantulas anymore because I'm homies with them, right? I mean, and I've seen a couple in the wild and they're fine, but they don't really scare me. And little spiders, growing up, we always had black widows at our house in Riverside, and they're freaky because you don't want them to bite you, but also I've seen my dad kill 100 black widows. So look, I know they're defeatable. I don't know. Especially as a parent, you can't really be scared of things because your kid is scared, and so you have to step up and be like, see, it's not really scary. See how I killed it? It's so easy. It's not really after you. When internally you're just ah! Shouldn't have done that. But the scorpion thing, I can't really get over it. And I was told when I moved here that if you live in the city limits, you're fine. You won't have scorpions. It's only the people who live out next to the mountains. They're the ones that get the scorpions. However, my friend Holly lives in a very nice community. Not gated, but They're not turning away scorpions at the gate. Like, they can just go in on their own. But, it's a neighborhood. It's not that close to the mountains. So I don't know what these scorpions are doing. What are they doing? They're moving inward. Not cool with this. And in a weird turn of events, they say the small ones are the worst ones. So strange. The smaller the scorpion, the worse the sting. What? What's going on in the body of the rest of those scorpions? Like the big ones. They're just Pokemon just running around like they can't hurt you. Well, I don't understand. But she just went out in the garage and she stepped on one and it stung her. And she said that it felt like somebody shoved a knife through her foot. So scary. Oh my gosh, it was so scary. That's so scary that you could just walk out in your garage and just step on a creature and it could feel like a knife through your foot. And she said that her foot, like from her shin down, was tingly for like 24 hours. Like she couldn't really walk on it. Like this tiny little dude, this tiny little pinchy dude with a creepy little tail stung her in her foot and she couldn't walk for like a day. That's so insane. That's so insane. And it reminded me of the on-air dare that Jack did. And I also I'm sure I've talked about this before, but especially after the whole documentary thing, I kind of want to clear up this one because this was by far the worst on-air dare. So just to recap, I'm sure you know if you've been following me. If you followed me for 80 episodes of this podcast, you know exactly what the on-air dares are. It was Fear Factor for Kids. They were bumpers that we did in between like commercial breaks, right? Like we do. All that would air. It would go to commercial, but right before we went to commercial, it would be us doing a little on-air dare. And all of us did it. They would, every episode of the on-air dares, they'd pick 3 of us to put in these glass tubes. And throughout the show, they would, I think not just our shows, I think it was a whole evening of Snick, right? Yeah, I think there was like a whole block of shows on Saturday nights, and ours was just one of them. And then throughout the whole evening, yes, that's what it was. That's how they kept you watching. That's how they kept you watching and glued to your TV all Saturday. Is that pretty genius on their part, actually? Is that at the very, very beginning of the Snick block, you would see the 3 cast members singled out to do that night's dare. And you'd learn what the dare was. And then you got real curious because you're like, who is going to have to get showered on by dead squid? Which also really happened. Crazy. Who's going to have to roll around with chickens and get pecked by chicken? Also really happened. I would say 80% of the dares were real. 20% of the dares were not real. And the not real dares always bothered me because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, let's only do real ones. Like one of them was Giovanni was selected to eat a bowl of toenails. And like, sure, you can get kids to believe that that's real, but like, obviously it's not real, which was dumb because we were doing actually real dares, which were cool. Like I was in a glass coffin, basically, like a glass box full of live frogs. I was covered in mud and they dumped a bunch of frogs on me and the frogs just like hopped all over me and almost in my mouth and the whole thing. So that was like real. I had to be in a bathtub full of dead fish. Totally real. I had to swim in a vat of chili. Totally real. So the real ones were great, but then when you had the fake ones like eat toenails or like, was one of them like eat hair? One was like, I don't know. There's like some really dumb ones that were not real. I'm like, you're taking away from the authenticity of the real ones when you do the fake ones. Anyway, that's a tangent. But one of the real ones, and probably the worst on-air dare, was Jack DeSena putting a scorpion in his mouth. Now, we were 3 seasons in, I believe, at this point. I think we were around season 3 when this one came along, 2 or 3. Anyway, we'd been working for Nickelodeon long enough to just know that you're going to have to do gross stuff and just, it's fine. Like, there's no time to be scared or freaked out. Just like they've made sure it's safe. You have people on set making sure everything's totally perfectly fine and perfectly safe, perfectly non-toxic. Like they've taken care of it. So just like, don't hold up production by being freaked out. Just do it. And afterward, we usually are really proud of ourselves that we did it. So for example, when I was Claudia, I had to put a cockroach in my mouth. I've told that story many times. I didn't have time to be freaked out. I just did it. And now I love telling that story. Same with the tarantulas. The first time Claudia did tarantulas, it was just the one, and I was just like holding it in my hands. And, I go off on tangents on this show, so I'm just going to go off on another tangent. The freakiest thing about the tarantula, the first time, is that he was a biggie. He's a biggie, and they had a tarantula Wrangler. And so all week, I knew that a tarantula was coming. Like, I knew. They told me on Monday, hey, Friday, you gotta chill with the tarantula. So that's a lot of anticipation, and I was a little freaked out. I want to say it was season 1, season 2. I can't remember. But I knew it was coming. 5 days of, oh boy, here it comes. The tarantula is imminent. And then the day came where, dude, you get the call sheet and it literally says Tarantula Wrangler. It's just his title. Put it on a business card. I'm the Tarantula Wrangler. That's what they call him. And you see it on the call sheet and you're like, that's for me. That dude's here for me. And we sit down, we start doing the scene, and we go all the way up to the moment where I was supposed to have the tarantula. And they're like, fly in the tarantula. Anytime they bring something to set, they say like, fly in the thing. So it's funny. They're like, fly in the tarantula. So the tarantula wrangler just like comes up. He's just holding a massive spider. No big deal. He's like, he does this every day. He wrangles them for a living. He's a professional spider wrangler. So he's like, can you open your hands? I'm like, yes. So he puts it in my hands. And I'm holding this massive tarantula, and he's big and he's hairy, and he has this one arm that reaches forward. This is my favorite thing about tarantulas is they have, don't quote me on this, but they have like one arm or leg. I don't know what are they arms or legs? Are they both? I don't know. Legs. So he has this one leg that he like looks, he like feels and smells with. I don't know if he smells, but this is going off the rails. I'm not a scientist and I count on my fingers to do math. So please don't take anything I say seriously. Just chat GPT it afterward. Anyway, something I was freaked out, but also I was being given scientific information. The dude's like, yeah, he's gonna like reach forward with his one leg, and that's how he like sees what's happening in front of him. He's gonna like touch stuff with his leg, and then he's gonna go. So video watchers, sorry audio listeners, but like video watchers, he walked like this, where he was just like like he put that one leg out, like he reached forward with the one leg, and then the rest of his legs followed. And there was a reason that he did that, and I was a little preoccupied with holding a spider at the time to remember exactly what that was all about. So you just research that on your own. But he did, everything started to be totally fine. I was like, oh, he's actually cute. Like, this dude's cute. I even asked the dude, I said, does he have a name? And he said, no. And I said, can I name him Fluffy? And he said, yes, you can name him Fluffy. And I will make a note that his name is Fluffy, and that will always be his name. I'm not sure. I don't think he was telling the truth about that. I think he was just being nice to a 15-year-old. But I like to think that his name was Fluffy from thenceforth on. So Fluffy I'm holding Fluffy. He's like kind of going up my arm a little bit. He's kind of going back to my hands. And then the dude says, oh, by the way, if you drop him, he will explode. That is what he said. That is what he said verbatim. That's what he said. He didn't. And again, maybe he's putting this in terms that a 15-year-old will really respond to, because that is exactly what he said. If you drop him, he will explode. And I'm like, hold up. Can we just run it back just for a second? Can we go back to what you just said, which is if I drop this spider, it's going to explode? I'm sorry. Is this a grenade or is this a living creature? What's going on here? And I even remember Chelsea and Giovanni were both like, oh, what? Because they were there in the slumber party sketch. We're all gathered around. Gather around. Watch Lisa hold the tarantula. And then he says, if you drop, it's going to explode. And I'm like, pardon, what? And he said, yeah, I guess this particular breed of tarantula, from the height I had it at, which I was sitting on the slumber party bed holding the spider, if I were to drop him and he would have fallen, 3 feet, 2.5 feet, whatever distance that was, probably what I'm at right now, sitting in this chair, holding the spider right now. I think if he would have fallen from here to the ground, he would have exploded. And I guess what he meant by that is, I swear he said his abdomen was gonna pop off. Like also very unnerving. Like all of this is like, please someone research this to see if it's true. Because now that I'm saying it, was any of this true? Did he just not want me to drop his spider and he's just filling me with fear? Like, what is going on? Is that true? Please, somebody tell me if that's true. But he told me that if I dropped this spider from this height, he was going to explode and his body was going to pop off and he'd be dead. And then he would be down one spider, and that's literally what he does for a living. He's a tarantula wrangler. I took away his tarantula. Dude, I'm taking food off his family's table, right? I've put this guy out of a job. Don't drop my spider. So then that went from like, I'm afraid of the spider to like, I'm cool with the spider to like, now I'm afraid of killing the spider via explosion. It's a different kind of danger, right? Now I'm not scared that this little dude's gonna hurt me. I'm scared that I'm gonna hurt the little dude. And maybe this was all part of the plan. Maybe this was just the spider wrangler's plan from the beginning to make sure I didn't kill his, bread and butter. So I didn't kill the spider, and his name was Fluffy. And many episodes later, Claudia needed more spiders, and this time it was multiple spiders, and it was much less of a meet and greet and more of a like, just put the spiders on her, we got to shoot, we're running behind. So I didn't really get to exchange pleasantries with the spiders the second time. The first time, me and Fluffy, like we got down, we chatted, we told each other like our hopes and dreams and desires, and I told him I wasn't going to make him explode, and he was like, thank you so much, I appreciate that. And it was all good, and me and Fluffy like chilled. He's probably dead now, but anyway, I love Fluffy and I miss him. I hope he's doing great, even though he's probably dead now. But the second time I was sitting there as Claudia, and it was more the end of the sketch, and they're like, we're running behind, fly in the spiders, fly in the tarantulas. So they flew in the tarantulas. They strategically put them on like my shoulders and my arms and my legs, and they're like, and action. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, I now have 4 spiders on me. I think it was like 3 or 4. It's definitely more than 1. Definitely more than 2. So 1 minute I had no spiders on me, and then literally like 10 seconds later I had 4 spiders on me. And then now America's watching. The cameras were rolling, and everybody was like, we got to get to lunch. So can we just do this? Very weird life that I've led. But yeah, so then they're like, action. And then I did my line, and I'm like, there's spiders on me, and I don't even have time to like even think about this. And then the scene ended, and he rushed in, Spider Wrangler rushed in, grabbed them, and then they were gone. Just like that. As quickly as they arrived, they were gone. Didn't get to know any of them, didn't get to learn their names, give them names. That's a real shame. So anyway, by the time we did the on-air dares with the scorpion, that had already happened. Like we already dealt with animals and bugs and slime and like just gross stuff, all safe stuff, but just, gross stuff. Dude, it's Nickelodeon. Like this is what we signed up for. And we loved it. So there's a little bit of a misconception out there, and I am going to do a deep dive into the on-air dares soon, and I'm going to repeat exactly what I'm about to say again when I do that episode. Generally, for the most part, from what I remember, none of us were really genuinely freaked out by the dares. If anything, we were excited, and we would ask for the worst dares. Specifically Jack, he did this. He always wanted the very worst dares, and he would ask the writers to give him the worst ones. And he would even suggest some. I'm not sure if they ever took his ideas into consideration, but he definitely wanted the worst ones because he's a teenage boy and he was a daredevil and he wanted to do that. And I think some of the other boys did it too. But when the scorpion one, we had done a lot of dares, but then when the scorpion one showed up, that was when it was like, oh, dang. Like, a real one? He's going to have to put a real scorpion into his mouth. What? Okay. So all of us were like, this is next level. It's kind of like when, it's like in Three Amigos, when they show up and they're still in actor mode and they're going to go create peace on what they think is like a movie set, but then El Guapo just actually starts shooting at them. And then that's when Steve Martin goes over to the other two and is like, this is real. This is real. I remember that feeling of like, we've done all these dares, but then now there's a live scorpion involved. And I'm like, this is real. This is real. And thankfully I was not chosen for that one. It was Jack. And he was so excited about it. And yes, there was a scorpion wrangler. So we got through the other segments. Every on-air dare had 3 or 4 or 5 segments leading up to the big dare. So we filmed all the segments. We got to the big dare. And here comes the scorpion wrangler. Fly in the scorpion. So they brought in the scorpion. And they pull out the scariest monstrosity I've ever seen. It's massive. It's a big black scorpion with a big scorpion tail and big scorpion pinchers. And oh my gosh, it's making my skin crawl right now just thinking about it. So they're like, here he is. Here's the scorpion. And I'm like, can I name him Fluffy? And they're like, enough out of you. Stop naming our creatures. So he holds it up and we're all gathered around like, oh, here we go. Like, this is real. Jack's going to have to do this. And they put electrical tape around the claws of the scorpion so that it couldn't pinch Jack in the face as he was holding it up to his mouth. And they were like, this is perfectly safe. They're like, this is perfectly safe as they hold up a creature from the movie Alien in front of us. And they were instructing Jack, and we should have just like let them have a moment, right? Like Jack has to do this very crazy thing on camera, and we should just let him have a moment with the scorpion wrangler. No, we all gathered around as close as we could, and we wanted to see it and hear it, the whole thing. This was a big deal. So I remember the dude saying, all right, Jack, just hold him by his tail gently and lower him into your mouth, and he's gonna resist. The scorpion's gonna be like, I don't know about this. Like, is this sanitary? It's funny to think that the scorpion's the one who's like, I don't really want to do this. This is not. Is this guy clean? Like, I didn't sign up. Where's my contract? Like, did I sign up for this? But yeah, the scorpion is gonna not want to go in your mouth, so you have to kind of like make him go. But I remember them saying, do you see the end of his tail? That's a stinger. Don't let it touch your nose. So now we're like, this is the same moment that I had with the don't drop him, he's gonna explode. This was the moment of like, well, now it's serious. Now there's danger involved. Now Jack is in charge of the scorpion's well-being, because I mean, if it stings him in the nose, he'll never work in this town again. Obviously, he'll be blacklisted immediately. So yeah, I remember them saying, yeah, just lower him slowly into your mouth. He's not going to want to go. Like, just convince him to go, and then don't let the stinger touch your nose, or he's going to sting you in the nose. But knowing what I know now, I wonder if the sting wouldn't have been so bad because he was so big. And that's the legend, is that the tiny scorpions are much worse than the big scorpions. So who knows? But nobody seemed to be really concerned that this was going to happen. So then, yeah, we start filming, and here goes Jack, and he reaches into the scorpion's house, into his residence, and just picks him up by the tail and lowers him into his mouth. And we can't even believe what we're seeing. We're a foot away from this. Like, this is our friend Jack. Like, this is Jack. We love Jack. And he's wincing, and he's like, oh, and he's so grossed out. And we're just like, oh my, I can't believe this is happening. You're watching somebody right in front of you, your friend, put a monster into their mouth. And then they yell, cut. And I remember looking at Jack and be like, oh my God, are you okay? And Jack has the biggest smile on his face. And he's like, yeah, I was acting. Because like for a split second, I'm just like, oh, he looks horrified. Oh my gosh, he looks like this is not fun. Oh my gosh, he looks scared. Oh, he looks really grossed out. And then when they said cut. Jack, are you okay? Yeah, I was acting. He starts laughing, and we're all just like, yeah. And everybody cheers because Jack did it. That was a crazy thing to do. But yeah, that was a really fun day. And that's really my only, no, that's not true. That's my first ever encounter with like a big scorpion. There was one other time here in Las Vegas where I went over to my friend Tom Moore's house. If you've ever seen all of my pool photo shoot photos, I did it in his pool, and he didn't warm it up for me. It was the coldest pool on planet Earth, and I'll never forgive him for it. But it was when Riley, come here. It was when Riley was a tiny little puppy. And so we brought her, you good doggo. You a good doggo. You're such a good doggo. Dog, can you sit? Can you hang out? Oh, big stretch. Yeah, big stretch. Oh, good doggo. Good dog. Ooh, that's a nice breeze from your tail. Yeah, that's good. So Riley was this tiny little puppy, and so we brought her over to Tom Moore's house because he had dogs, and we're like, she needs to hang out with other dogs. She can't be like a weird homeschool kid like I was. Like, she needs to have friends. So, are you leaving? Are you out? Okay, bye, Riley. She's like, I did it, Mom. Bye. So we took her over there, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was Sean or if it was Tom, but one of them was like, Riley, come here now. Because we look, and next to the pool, there's just this massive scorpion, just strolling along like he fucking owns the place. Like, just checking out my pool, checking out my backyard. Like, dude, you don't live here. And he's just walking around like he lives there, just out in the open, just fully confident in front of all these people. All these predators, you'd think, right? Dogs, 3 dogs, 4 people. Aren't we all predators? Dude's strutting around in front of 7 predators like, what are you going to do about it? Like the sheer audacity of this scorpion. So then we're like, Tom Moore grabs some kind of substance, a spray, and he runs over and he sprays the scorpion. And he sprays it, and the scorpion is kind of just like, ow, stop it, ow. I proceed to watch this scorpion crawl into the pool, across the first step of the pool underwater, and then out of the pool, and he keeps on trucking. He keeps going! Like, what? You've been sprayed with some kind of pesticide, and now you've been underwater for at least 30 seconds, and then you just get out, and you just keep going? Scorpions can do that underwater? Demon creatures. They're demons. They're just little demons walking amongst us. So eventually Tom sprays whatever it was on him so much that he just kind of like curls up and accepts his fate and he dies. Good riddance, right? Good riddance. Dude, should have gone to Hollywood. Could have been on TV, but no. Yeah, this is probably a really gross episode for anybody who doesn't like spiders and scorpions. I need some kind of disclaimer at the beginning. Hold on, where are we at on time? Perfect. I can't tell you. It's like my new superpower. You know when you put something in the microwave and you for a couple minutes and then you're like, I wonder how that thing in the microwave's doing, and you walk back to the microwave with like 2 seconds left and you're like, I'm a superhero. I'm an X-Man because I can predict these things. That's been me with the podcast. Like I just kind of ramble and then I'm like, that feels like it's been about 30 minutes. Where are we at? Cool. But yeah, anyway, those are some fun stories. Again, I'm going to Scotland. If you have any advice on Scotland, put it in the comments. Even if you haven't been to Scotland, but there's some place that you really would like to go that you've heard about. Like I hear there's a Frankenstein themed bar in like an old church. I'm so stoked about that in Edinburgh, I think that is. So if you've heard of anything cool in Scotland, please put it in the comments. Obviously, if you live there, then you know what's up. So like, Tell me. I'm going to be there for like 3 weeks. I will have plenty of time to see all the sights. I almost said cite all the seas, which I will also do. I will cite all the seas. There's seas. I'm going to do it all. I'm so excited. LisaFoils.com is going to be changing like this week. The merch store will be down for a little while because right now my website is just Shopify. I'm switching it over to a full website, which will also have a merch store. So as of right now, merch is not available. You had your chance. You missed it. But when it comes back, when the merch store comes back, it's going to have new stuff. Actually, some unexpected items and hopefully prints. So I'm going to try to do all of those things. So look for that in the next couple weeks whenever I get it done. So merch shop's going down. Website is coming. I told you I have 2 announcements coming up very soon. I'm not sure when I can make those. Big things coming. But anyway, this is episode 80 and it's not really a milestone, right? I mean, 100 is going to be the big milestone, but I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me for 80 episodes. That's so nuts, dude. You've made 80 drives to work and listened to your favorite Short Drive podcast 80 times. And that means so much to me. Thank you guys so much. That's all I got. Bye. Oh, big stretch. Yeah, big stretch. Oh, good doggo.